Okay, I've had the Empire Ears Legend X for I don't know 5 days, close to a week now. I've been listening mostly with the DX150. If you're like, I thought you hated that thing. No, I love the sound. The lag blows my brains, but I love the sound and the form factor is absolutely fantastic. Empire Ears, these came in. I was expecting not much. I live in Japan. I've done lots of videos a couple years ago of me walking into Japanese audio shops, unplugging their gear and plugging mine in because I wanted to listen to that expensive stuff with my music, which would be like Tupac, Pink Floyd, Fleetwood Mac, instead of the jazz or whatever that they had in the Japanese shops. And they really don't like you reaching behind and pulling out the plugs, but I don't care what they think, so I did it anyway. And I came to the conclusion, this is my opinion, that a lot of the stuff that's in that price range, the Noble, the Kaiser, in my opinion, if you ever heard those and you thought, I don't get it, well, then keep going with this video because I didn't either. So these come in and I'm thinking, okay. Let me go into playlist. Now, if this thing lags on the screen, just deal with it because I'm dealing with it. Okay, there we go. The first track that got my attention was Welcome to the Machine by Pink Floyd. The beginning of this track, which I've heard since I was 7 years old, countless times. I could say something crazy like, I've heard it 1,000 times. That would probably be an understatement, but I can't say for sure. But I've heard it tons and tons of times. The initial part is, remember, it's called Welcome to the Machine, so you're actually being welcomed to the machine. There's an initial thing where it sounds like an elevator door opens. I assume that you get on it, the door's closed, the elevator travels up. I imagine in my imagination, it stops, the door's open, and you exit and you are at or within view of the machine that they're talking about. The machine actually is about the music industry and the way that it abuses artists, as it was said by Pink Floyd, but the visualization of what they did was not quite like that, actually, when they did the mixing in the studio. It sounds like it's a physical machine. There are 3 build-ups, and it's David Gilmour on the guitar, and he's doing dun 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 dun, and it goes into this event. It's like a sonic event, and then it goes to that again. Then David Gilmour does his acoustic, goes through it again, and then there's a more impressive, more lengthy by maybe 3 or 4 seconds sonic event, like a shwow, wow, and it sounds almost like the first one didn't, the second one sounds like something maybe is going over you. And then David Gilmour does between the second and the third event, he does the same thing. He does the guitar build up, and then just before the third event, it sounds like Nick Mason, the drummer, it sounds like he's got bass drums lined upside, like sideways, like 8 of them, like something you would hear at a symphony. Go go gung, go 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 gung. It sounds like he's banging on multiple bass drums in the background, like 2 or 3 times before the third song event, which sounds like a giant thing coming across and over your head. It's a grand event, and when you're a 7-year-old kid and you're listening to that and you're imagining that it's an elevator, and I didn't get that it was a ship or something, but I just thought, wow, that's awesome. It's like 3 build-ups that you might hear in a song one time, back to back to back, and it's actually in the middle of the song, not the finale. So it's amazing. Listening to that with these absolutely made me sit down and just stop, and I started to go through tracks. Now, bear with me with lag here. These are tracks that I was listening to and made note of their absolute insane impressiveness. No More by Aerosmith. Let's go into that one. This is a DSD. Baby, I'm a dreamer. Just love it. Doesn't sound great on lots of gear. Sounds the best I've ever heard it on this gear. I'm going to push next. The next track that I listen to would be, let's go. There we go. This is Girls Got Rhythm by AC/DC, which I love. This is a vinyl rip that I got right here. This isn't a DSD. Girls Got Rhythm, Girls Got Rhythm. They got the chorus in the background. Sounded absolutely fantastic. Horse with No Name by America. Acoustic. On the first day, and it sounds like he's really close on the mic with his mouth. It always does, and his the distance of him and the acoustic guitar can kind of be an indicator of mids and how they might be forward or recess. If these were to be anything, I'd think they're slightly forward based on this track. But the detail is absolutely mind-blowing. Badfinger, Timeless. If you ever watched, God, what is that series? Breaking Bad. The last episode that they ever had, because he was making drugs, blue meth, I guess, and this track is called Baby Blue. This is the U.S. single mix by Badfinger. What an unlucky group this was. I think two of these guys committed suicide because they got robbed by their manager. Anyway, this sounds absolutely fantastic. Can't Find My Way Home, Blind Faith. Ginger Baker, Steve Winwood, Eric Clapton. It was like a mega supergroup, and I think they released one album. And this is an acoustic guitar, and you can hear every pick and pull of the strings and Steve Winwood's voice near the mic. The way that the voice is coming through on this near the microphone is absolutely introducing me to a new level of audio. This is another one, Steve Winwood's voice on this one. Next after this would be we're going to move. Okay, Bob Marley, Waiting in Vain. This is a really mellow reggae vocal bass with a good bass pinning it down. Absolutely fantastic. This is where I could really hear the elevated bass of these, where I didn't catch it in the others, which tells me that it's only coming in when it's mastered that way. It's not enforcing itself on tracks like Can't Find My Way Home, which is an acoustic set with vocals mostly. There was no sense of bass where it shouldn't be. This had a prominent bass, but it's supposed to. Peace of Mind. God, Boston. Boston mixed their stuff in the studio like it was recorded in an open live show. It just pretty amazing. Foreplay, it's been such a long time, kind of the same thing. Photograph, Def Leppard. This would be an 80s, the guitar distortion, just absolutely fantastic. The heavy drums. I'm out of love, got a photograph picture of I can't remember the words. ELO, Living Thing. Lots of treble in this track, and it sounds absolutely fantastic. Love the detail. Time in a Bottle, Jim Croce. This is one of those moving pieces that you sit and listen to and just get mesmerized by. The vocals of Jim, it's really a guitar and maybe a couple other instruments that I can't think. I think there's a triangle in there. Is there even a bass guitar in there? It doesn't jump into my mind right now. I'm not going to listen to it, but I've always loved this song. I love the artist, actually. Blows me away. Kendrick Lamar. This is the first like hip hop thing I got, and it's called Swimming Pools. Drank. This has got a really nice bass. Kendrick Lamar's got exceptional producers, and the sound sounds absolutely fantastic. Since I've Been Loving You by Led Zeppelin. Bow, 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 dun, dun, just a cool song, and it's all at a pace where everything comes through clearly, and if you got good gear, it sounds even better. I've never heard Since I've Been Loving You better than I heard on this set. The Needle and the Damage Done by Neil Young. This is really a guy and a guitar. And again, we're talking about a set that's got two subwoofers, and I believe it was sent to me because it's got two subwoofers, but I could be totally wrong. I've never heard this song as good as I hear on this thing. The sound of his voice and how I can hear his breath and is something that I noted in other tracks that I've not really noticed ever before, unless I was in a home system and I was close to the speaker. But that's just selective memory, and it might not even be real. I don't ever recall hearing Neil's voice like I hear it on this track. If you like any of the music that I've just gone through, I can say that I think that this is the best set that I've ever heard in my life, and I'm going to do a review for it. This is 10 minutes long. I hate typing text, and doing a review written, which I'm going to do, is taxing on me and my ADHD. So people that want to see something, here you go. I've not heard anything like this. It's got a 10 crossover system. It sounds like it does. I've never touched the EQ. If I did touch the EQ, only the driver within the frequency band that I'm adjusting would be affected. So everything else, it would be probably the absolute boss of all sets if you're into EQ. And I am. I just haven't touched it yet because I like the sound as is. This is an absolutely brilliant DAP. It's a lag. It's a disaster as lag goes, but they've done 13 updates for the DX200, so I'm going to stick by it and be positive. But I'm not going to not talk about the negatives. Any negative with this? Negative with this, if I had one to this point right now, would actually be the cable, which might shock people. It doesn't quite have the memory that other one does, and every time I pack this away, I got to really pay attention that it doesn't get clipped inside here. So I'm a cable slut. You guys have seen my videos. I love good cables. And this is a good cable. So I'm not complaining. I guess if that's the biggest thing that you can say, and you're kind of reaching, right? I guess I feel like I got to say something that's a negative. It's not really. But something that coiled better, I guess, would be most ideal for me. That's my first impressions of the Empire Ears Legend X. It's the finest thing I've ever heard in my life. Every song that I just showed you has not been heard by me in this sense. I've been to shops in Japan for 4 or 5 years, taking videos of myself there, got everything, heard all this stuff, been totally jaded because come into and see people talking about stuff and I absolutely don't get what the hell they're talking about because I listened to my source and my music and I didn't hear what they were talking about. And often they don't actually talk about the music they listen to. What? This is music gear. What are you listening to? Would I recommend these? I'd absolutely recommend you sell your gear and get this. I absolutely recommend you stop chasing your tail for $1,000, $500, $800, $1,000, back and forth. Take the gear you got, sell it, combine it, and buy this. How's that? That's what I would do.